Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, so today we are going to do these horns. I'm so excited to get the horns started because this like messy look here, I just want to get it done. I want it to be over the top. Right. Far out. So what I can see on my laptop looks so different from what I can see on the live video. It's a lot darker. Right. Let's adjust the brightness and hope that it won't be too much. So brightness, just a bit brighter. Okay, I like that. Right, and then it might help if I actually fix this. So, part 3. Okay, let's make it white. Okay, and then the color that we're using, let's put this over here. We haven't decided on one yet. Cool, I think we are sorted. Okay, that's pretty much, that is what it looks like. So I think we've finally got some of our adjustments right. I think so. Okay. May help if I have my reference up, and then we can get going. Right, so these horns. How do I get there? Cool, so you guys are all set in terms of audio and being able to see the picture clearly? Look at this. This big giant pole behind me now. Because the camera's on a different angle. There we go. Radio. Okay, so for those that didn't join in a little bit earlier, so earlier today we did the jellyfish part 2. Today we are doing part 3 of the fantasy art piece. So what we managed to do so far, in the first part of the fantasy art piece, we got the face to look like this. And we still have, it's pretty much the underpainting done. Now we just have to add all the details of fur and that over the top of the face. And then what we did in part 2 is we did the aurora background with the trees and some stars, which we created with the titanium white brush and pencil powder and water. And today we are going to do the horns, and then because we've got our background established, we will be able to do the sides of the head because now the fur can sort of go over the background and it will just look better. It won't look like it's yeah, it won't look like the background is sort of going over the foreground, if that makes sense. So these horns, they have a lot of these like purpley colors in them, and then they go to these nice sort of browns, which are also reflected in the fur. So a lot of the same colors that are in the fur is in the horns as well. So I might start with a dark value, just establishing those darker sort of creases in the horns, and then the highlights next to them. So maybe we'll start off with a pretty neutral color like the browns. Yeah, so let's use Bister number 047. Number 047. Cool. And sharpen that up. And now I'm just going to focus on these dark creases in the horns. Another thing you can do is you could take your black and white reference, and that's the wrong one. Take this one. If you keep this close by, you will be able to see those darker values, and you can sort of just work on it as you go. So we could fold that. And then if you keep it close, like that, like right above it, then you should be able to see those values pretty easily. Okay, I need to remember to record. So it is quite textured. The trick is when you're following along like this, you want to keep following the right line. it's not accuracy that you have to worry about here. It's more making sure that as these creases are going to get closer and closer together, and these are going to get further and further apart at the top. So if you make it too symmetrical, then it's going to make the horns look weird. So we just want to make sure we're following that sort of curve. Close together down the bottom, further apart at the top. See now, this top part of the horn has a different sort of curve at the top here. Just make sure we recognize that as we go along. It's not so this area is darker than this, so I don't want to press too hard with this color over here. This is a very dark, narrow sort of bend in the horn. Thanks, Marine. I love the face too. I really loved it when I made the eyes really big. Because the eyes are just such an important or such a nice part of a drawing that when you're doing fantasy art, you can emphasize everything. I think I will probably always emphasize the eyes. So just for those of you that are going to be drawing this, if you want to draw it the same way, the fantasy art layout that I have, that's fine. I don't mind that you do that. Just keep in mind that you won't be able to enter it into any competitions because it's not your original design, if that makes sense. So if you take a photo, so let's say you buy a royalty-free photo from iStock Photos and you draw it the same and you don't really change much around in terms of the design, you cannot enter that into a competition or an exhibition because the original content of the design belongs to somebody else. But if you change the design up a lot or completely, then you can do it. So just the same sort of thing applies here. Because the original design is mine, just keep in mind that you can draw it, provided that you give credit to me for the design of the image, and you just cannot sell it or enter it into an exhibition because of the copyright. Does that make sense? I never really talk about it. I always forget because most of what I teach is from stock photos, and but I only use them to teach. So I don't enter those into exhibitions or competitions or anything unless I change up the design completely. So I guess I just know that, but I don't really say it. I know a lot of people have a bit of confusion about copyright and what they can and cannot draw. In simple terms, you can draw whatever you want and you can post it on your social media if you want. But if it is a photograph that you are trying to copy to learn how to draw, that's fine. You can do it as much as you like with whatever images you like. The dilemma comes in when you want to sell the images, because you need the permission from the photographer to be able to sell your drawing of the image, if that makes sense. But if you change up the design, then you can do whatever you want with it. So the whole idea is that you can draw it, but you can't make any profit from it if you do not have the rights to the original. Okay, so that's given us a basic idea of the shape and the sort of direction that we need to go into. And now we're just going to do the same for this side. Oh, yeah, Bob, the pictures that say no attribution, that's fine, because they're saying that you can use it freely however you like. So those ones, yeah, you can use and sell or enter into competition or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's what they mean by no attribution required. Yep. Yep, especially professional photographers. You need to make sure that before you use their epic photos that they are okay with you using them first. So royalty-free photos, you can draw freely and you can share your drawings. Photos that are not royalty-free, you need to get permission first to use that photo at all for anything that you're doing. Photos like fan art and that, like, that's difficult because everybody draws their fans and not draws their fans, draws their favorite, celebrities and stuff. And those photos aren't necessarily royalty free, but I guess because they celebrities and I don't know, they tend to get away with it. But technically you shouldn't really be able to draw those because you don't have the rights to the photo. But also if you label it fan art and you're not making a profit from it, then it's fine. You're just showing people that you're a fan and you're drawing your favorite actor or actress or celebrity. I've hit that real relaxation mode. You just get quiet and you just enjoy. So if I'm very quiet, then ask me some questions. Or feel free to do the same and just relax and enjoy your artwork. Okay, so it's sort of, this part here is quite shadowed. I've got my other sharpener set up. Yes. Hey Janet, I see you commenting through Patreon. It might click on the link and click on YouTube to watch this video through YouTube, and then you should be able to get in the chat over there. think I saw Tracy is trying this one. She's doing really good. It almost looks like she's going ahead of me. Jackie says, when you use titanium white with water instead of touch-up texture, do you find it chips off when going over it with pencil? No, I don't. You really have to wait for it to dry properly though. Really wait for it to dry. And if you do find that you may have applied it too thick and it does start chipping off with pencil over the top, then maybe seal it with a fixative first before you go over it again with colored pencil. You are. It's just a matter of breaking it down section by section. But yeah, if you are starting off, then I'd probably encourage you to do the smaller ones first. This is quite a big piece with a lot going on. And when you're starting, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with a very big project. Okay. Yes, I really like that. So let's pick the next color. Oops. We want to get that nice sort of brownish, purplish brownish kind of color. This one and this one. So I think these two together will go pretty good in the horns. So we have brown and we have hazel, and we can add the purple over the top later. So I'm going to be chopping and changing between these two colors. So we've got brown 059, and we have hazel 053. So I'm going to just use these two in the horns now. Sharpen them up nicely. Jackie, I'd say probably maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Depends on how thick you apply the titanium white. Oh, Maureen, I know. Is that the painting with the books? That looks amazing. Yes, I look forward to seeing the progression pictures. Have you started? Or not yet? cool. Just the background. 12-part tutorial. Wow. And how big is it? You know what, I'm going to add a third color to my hand. So I will be using these 3 colors at the same time. And I'm going to add the indigo blue. That's the kind of purple I'm looking for. So indigo blue 139. So usually what I do in this case is I literally hold the 3 pencils that I'm using, and then I'm looking at one part of my reference, and then I will use all 3 of these colors where I feel it's necessary. Oh, cool. That sounds wonderful, Maureen. Oh, wow. 12 by 24. That does sound big. Okay, I feel like this color is just a bit too red. I wanted more on the cooler side, so I'm going to swap the brown out for the umber, number 049. Jackie said, I did a pastel background and sprayed Mikador fixative and it went straight over the whole paper. And I don't know if it affected the paper. It's pretty hard to tell. So usually when you spray, you should be able to hold your head at an angle and you can see how wet your paper is. So you will be able to see the whole surface of your paper will be wet if you look at it at an angle where the light reflects on it, and that means that you've sprayed enough on there. Sometimes, especially because Mikado is such a light fixative, or it doesn't have a lot of texture in it, so sometimes you might not know if you've actually it won't feel like you've applied anything. But you can also test, so you might want to do that about 2 or 3 times. And then, especially if you're using pastel as a background, you should be able to rub the surface of the paper and the pastel doesn't come off. Then you've sprayed enough. Okay, now I'm going to be bold and I'm going to show you how I really color in if no one's really watching. I'm going to add a 4th color in my hand. Let me just check if this is the color I want. Okay. So I'm also going to add brownish orange and white to my hand. So I'm going to have 5 pencils in my hand, and I will try not to have any more than that. So usually, this is what I do a lot, is I'd hold 4 or 5 colors in my hand for a section that I'm working on. But usually I don't have it in my tutorials like that because it's too hard to keep track of all the colors, so it's easier to do it one at a time. But for this, in this instance, I will just mention each color. I'll have all 5 on the screen, but I will mention each one as I use it. Brownish orange 043, and the white you will be able to see when I use the white. Okay, so those are the 5 colors I'm going to have in my hand, and I'll keep working on the horns that way. So now I'm going to use the brownish orange. I see, Jackie. Jackie says, I meant that I have finished the background spraying during the process, but I am working on my sparrows now in pencil. The third sparrow isn't taking to the paper. Oh. Did I see that on Instagram? I'm pretty sure I saw. Bob says, I also gave up on my crow. I used the wrong fixative. It is a final fixative, but said it was workable. I may try the brush and pencil to see if I can salvage it. Oh no, you sprayed a final fixative instead of a workable fixative. I hope you can salvage it too. Actually, you know, I also had fixative problems with the crow because I mixed the Micador fixative with the workable fixative. These are all things that we have to play with and experience for ourselves for it to really be understood. Indigo blue. Amber. Brownish orange. Hazel. Oh, yes, I see what you mean, Jackie. You didn't mix fixative but sprayed it over the whole paper thinking it would not affect the main sparrow subject. Yep, that's what I did as well. I didn't cover my crow, and I did the background and I kept spraying over the paper, so by the time I added color to the crow, it already had like 4 or 5 layers of fixative underneath it, and it didn't feel like the pencil was sticking to it like I would like. And then to make it worse, I added the textured fixative, thinking I would add a bit more of a better texture, but then it was awful. Yeah, so that's something I learned as well through the process of the crow, is seal your main subject in first, maybe with Frisket or something, and then spray your background. Umber. Yeah, the crow still ended up looking pretty good, considering. The only thing is that it's not very archival, and I sort of want to also just seal it in with an archival varnish and sort of just hope that that will do the trick, make it last. It's like using the varnish is like gluing everything down. It cannot move. Brownish orange. Hazel. Amber. Let's see if we can get some other music. Let's go to browse. I'm still using the umber. The varnish is a spray by Golden. The brand's called Golden. And you get the matte spray or the glossy spray. But I did say once I finish the jellyfish, I'll show you guys how I use it. brownish orange. So I'm not aiming to get every design right, because then I'll be here for a lifetime. So all I'm doing is I'm just making sure I'm going in the right direction. And some of these lines I'm making up. As long as I'm going in the right directions and I get the values in the right spaces, then it's going to look pretty good anyways, regardless of how exact you are doing it compared to the reference. Hazel. Brownish orange. Okay, indigo blue. I need to get all those dark areas back in. I'll do the other horn and then we'll blend that in. Indigo blue. Okay, so I can see very dark shadows over here. So I want to make sure I put them in. So this one is a bit darker than the other one. Hazel. Brownish orange. Okay. Yay! Let's blend these in. Before I do, I just want to add some, add some white here. around here. Okay. Thanks, Maureen. Okay. So I'm using my number 2 round Jassart brush or Taklon brush. Gotta keep it almost completely dry. Very, very, very little is required. I might blend in the darker areas first, just because they're so overpowering. See how we blended the dark first? Now if we go and blend in the lighter areas, we can sort of bring them into the darker areas. Instead of spreading the darker areas too far into the lighter areas. So manipulating solvents, manipulating pencils with solvent is a little bit of a skill in itself. It's just something you have to practice and something you have to get a feel for to do right. So it's very hard to explain without physically being able to try it yourself. Because I can't show you on camera how much solvent is on my brush, but I am hoping that you are able to see just how little it is. try and zoom in a little bit more for you. There we go. Actually, I am going to take a quick little break. I'll be right back. Just give me 5 minutes, maybe? It's 5 minutes. Battery died. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to get all the videos off this SD card soon. So may as well do that now quickly. Oops. Oh, Jackie, that's good. So maybe the luminance will help. Yes, reducing the odorless mineral spirits to almost dry is key. Oh, Jackie, yeah, Maureen's following a 12-part tutorial. I'm not sure if anyone sells their work, Jackie. Do you sell yours? Would you want to? It's a tricky subject, that one. Yeah, commissions are good. I think it's easier to get commissions than to sell your work. That's my personal opinion anyways, because when you're trying to sell your work, you've got so much to do with marketing and making sure the right audience sees it, and then trying to figure out who the right audience is and how to capture them. It's a lot of work. But with commissions, you just market yourself and your ability to do something, and give people a price, and they will give you the image. So people are more inclined to buy a commission or have you do a commission than buy an artwork, because a commission is so personal to them. So it would be great if you can get involved with commissions. Oh, how nice is that, George? And hello. Oh, thank you. That's fun. I love hearing things like that. So George just said that he purchased a drawing from Myrto in Greece, who is a member of the student portal. One of the great side benefits of the portal is becoming acquainted with the other artists here that I otherwise have never known about. I know, that's so great. Mm. Maureen's like, that horn looks real. I know. It's so much fun when you get to apply solvent to your first layer. And all you have to do is get the value right, and then it looks realistic. And this is just the underpainting version. No worries, George. Thank you for saying hello. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, good, Jackie. I'm glad to hear it. I do get that question a lot, or I get that statement a lot where students would be like, I don't like using it, or I don't know how to use it right. But you do just have to have a play with it. Have a play with different amounts, have a play with different amounts of layers of colored pencils and different brushes until you get a feel for it. Yeah, isn't it cool? Look, if you look at the horn like this, and this is what's underneath it. So it transforms from this to this just with solvent. It's like magic. Woo! The first blending of the first horn. Now we can move on to the left one. Yes, Jackie, it does. Because you're using such a small amount of solvent, so Jackie's saying it takes just as long to do the solvent blending as it does the pencil layer. And the reason for that is because you're using such a small amount of solvent, so you're constantly having to dip and dab your brush. So you can't work on a large area very quickly. And you don't want to. So you still have to work in every little spot. So sometimes it could take you even longer to apply the solvent than it would have to apply the pencil layer. Oh no. Maureen, do you find that your dogs do their business real quick because they hate the cold just as much? dear. I certainly do not envy you guys with the snowy weather. Everyone's going into hibernation mode. Cool. So that looks pretty good. Now what I want to do, I want to lift some more of the highlights off. So I'm going to do that with extra solvent on my brush and a bigger brush. And then look for those parts that just need to be highlighted a bit more. And rub it off. So this you can only do if you're using sanded paper.
I almost like them just like that. I still need to add a lot more like texture to it, but I do like the way that it's looking. Yeah, Jackie, me too. I got the air conditioning pumping on its highest. It's also very windy outside. Thanks, Maureen. So highlighting here, I'll use a firmer brush. Yep, we on 37 degrees today. So Jackie, I know, I feel it. And then last night it came pouring down with rain and it made it worse. It also made it really humid. So all of us are staying inside for complete opposite reasons. The opposite extremes. Yeah, it's been pretty good. It's only because of the rain we had last night that the humidity is a bit more today, but usually it's not too bad humidity wise.
Oh, my next SD card is full. I'm doing a lot of drawing today. Okay. I am going to just pause for a minute or two so I can go swap the memory cards around. I'll be right back. Yes, Jackie, I also love how you said that. But brought together through the love of art. Okay, I'm gonna stream for another 25 minutes. Because then it's going to be 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to have a break and call it a day. These horns took a bit longer than I expected. Well, actually, I knew it would take a little while. But yeah, they look really, really nice. So I guess next time what we'll do is we'll do any other further adjustments on the horns, and then we will obviously finish the head and then move a little bit lower on the background here, I think. Okay, so using the Umber 049, I want to establish more of the shadows. So just darken them up again. Jackie's asking, is there a place or way that we could put our Instagram or Facebook so we could follow each other's progress? What does anybody think? Yeah, well, that's what the Chaldine Art Hordes Facebook page is, so that you guys can share your art social media. And yeah, so you can share your Facebook page or your Instagram account there. Just not every single individual image that you do, but you can share your art accounts there to follow each other. Hey, George. Hi, Chantal. Okay, and I'm going to use some white for the highlights. So white 001. I'm also going to use this to create the illusion of texture, because I can see that the curved parts of the horn are going in a horizontal sort of direction. It's not going in the direction of the curve, it's going in the opposite direction. Let me zoom in. Yeah, Jackie, I agree. Thank you. I think you'd find that the other students agree with you as well. I really encourage that we follow each other's work. It is great to see each other's progress. Thank you, Chantal. So Jackie, you only have your personal Instagram. Well, you can create multiple accounts on your Instagram, so it would be great if you could create an Instagram account just for your artwork, and then you could share that. Jackie, I don't like those words. If there's one thing I wish I kept all my old artwork, because then I can compare it to how I've improved now. So I wish I took those photos of old artworks, and I wish I kept the prints and everything, and I wish I shared it so that it would be obvious to see the progress. But, you have to do what you're comfortable with. Oh, sorry, I just realized I went off the screen. Okay, I'm just going to finish adding this white here, and then I'm going to call it a day. So I'm pretty happy with that. So this is how far we got in 3 hours. We just got the horns done. But this is a big drawing, so it's understandable. Okay. Let's zoom out to get a better look. Okie dokie. So we managed to do the horns today. And I probably will add more to the horns later on, because I can see that I need to add a darker shadow underneath here. When we get to the fur here, that needs to be a fair bit darker, and I need to add a darker shadow underneath there. But I think maybe those are things that I'll do right towards the end. But for now, I really like the texture of the horns. They look very textured. I like the way the values of the horns turned out, and I think they look really cool. So I don't know if we'll add anything to it in the next part, but maybe towards the end when we do like final touch-ups. I think the final touch-ups video will probably be a whole video in itself. And apart from that, that's it. So this was part 3 of the fantasy art piece, and we will carry on with this tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll do part 3 of the jellyfish in the morning, early morning again. I'll start at 8 o'clock my time, and then after that again we will work on this, and I'll swap that over, because tomorrow is supposed to be the smart art box video, but I haven't got the smart art box yet. So this is good, at least I'm learning. So next month I won't make the smart art box video as early. But yep, I'll swap them around, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Maureen. That's so sweet. She thinks it looks real. Yeah, feel free to share your social media with one another, and yeah, thanks. Maybe I'll put a post on Facebook again, just to remind everybody, and they can share their social media there, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. And if you only have personal accounts, then in the comments of those posts, just state there that it is your personal account, but you also share your art there. And then those who choose to follow you can follow you. At least the information will still be there. Okie dokie guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!